Hello everyone, I'm going to discuss the IGCSE Chemistry Feb March 2025 paper 1-2. So the first question is, substance L takes the shape of the container that holds it. What could be the state of matter of substance L? So these are the three states of matter, and which will be taking the shape of the container. For solid it has a fixed shape, but for the liquid and gas it doesn't have any fixed shape. So for the liquid it will take the shape of the container, for the gas it will fill up the container. So for the liquid and gas it doesn't have a particular shape. So that's why the correct option will be option A, liquid or gas. Second one, the melting points and the boiling points of pure substances N, and O are shown. These are the datas. The substances are chlorine, ethanol and sulfur. Which row identifies M, N and O? So here, these are the three materials. So ethanol has a low melting point and a moderate boiling point because it's a volatile liquid. So out of this, the lower the melting point is for the M. And the sulfur has a high melting point. So this is sulfur. High will be the melting point and the boiling point at room temperature. High the melting and boiling point is for the N. And chlorine has low the melting and boiling points because it's a gas. So that's why it's filled on a cylinder. It has the lower the melting point and the boiling point. Both are negative values. So we can confirm that the O is representing the chlorine and N is representing the sulfur. N is representing the ethanol. So here ethanol, sulfur and chlorine. So correct option is option B. Question number 3. Which statement explains why the noble gases are unreactive? So basically we have classified this noble gases into group 8 or group 0. So these gases have some properties. These are gases at room temperature. It's unreactive because it has full the outer shell electrons. It is colorless, odorless and tasteless. So here the first option is that they are in the same group of the periodic table. That's not basically a reason for it. And it's all gases at the room temperature. That's not actually a reason why it is unreactive. The option C, they each have the full outer electron shell. Yes, and they are found in the air. This is not actually giving you why it is unreactive, why it is noble. So the correct option is option C. Question number 4. What is the electronic configuration of a P3 negative ion? So P is representing phosphorus. It has 15 the proton number. So here if it is 15 the proton number, the number of protons and number of electrons is going to be 15 for a normal phosphorus atom. So 15 is basically having a configuration of 2, 8 and 5, but here it is an ion. So it is 3 minus. So you can have the positive ion or negative ion. If that atom is a positive ion, it means that it has lost the electron. That's why. And if the atom is of a negative ion, it becomes a negative ion, which means that it has gained the electron. So here it is 3 minus. It's a negative ion. It means that 3 electrons has gained. So here it is 285 normally, but by adding the next 3 electrons is gonna be 5 plus 3, which is 8. So 288 is the electronic configuration. So the correct option is option D. Question number 5. Some information about 4 metal atoms or ions is shown. Which 2 atoms or ions are from isotopes of the same element? To do this question, you should know what is isotope. For an atom or ion to be an isotope, they should have the same number of protons and different is the number of neutrons. Or you could say the same is the proton number and different is the nucleon number is also a number, like an identification mark. So here look at the nuclear number, like all are different, but you don't know about these blank spaces. So let's have a look on the first one. Atom is Q, charge is +3, so it will become a positive charge. So from the previous question you might know it has lost the 3 electrons. It has lost 3 electrons. So after losing the 3 electrons, it's become 10 the number of electrons, right? So a proton number is not gonna be 10, like, because it has lost the 3 electrons, that's why it is 10. So proton number still stays the same, so it's gonna be 13, and the nuclear number is 27. For the atom R, it's 12 the proton number, but electron number you're not sure. So it's previously it was 12, but now see the charge is +2, so it has lost the 2 electrons, so it's gonna be 10. And for the atom S, the charge is +2, the proton number is not given, number of electrons is 10. So now the number of electrons is 10, but after losing the 2 electrons, right? So it has proton number of the same, which is 12, like this. And from this one also you could see the options are of 2, and for the atom T you can find out the proton number and then electron number is the same, which means that the charge is 0. It has not loosened or gained any electron, and the nuclear number will be like mostly the double of the proton number. And like that's actually not relevant here, because you just need to get 2 elements, and here you're getting same number of protons for the R and S. And see, look at the nuclear number, it's different, 24 and 26. So same number of protons and different number of nucleons, or the different is the mass number, is the option. So option C is the correct answer for this. So question number 6, which row describes the changes to the atoms when a metal and a non-metal react together? So usually the metals are on the left side of the periodic table, and the non-metals are on the right side. And as you know, on the left side the atoms will be having like 1 or 2 electrons on the outer shell. So they will always have a tendency to lose the electron and becomes a positive. For example, here it is given for sodium chloride. Sodium is losing one of the electron and becomes sodium plus. So it has like more chances of losing the electrons, and the non-metals is having like 6, 7 electrons on the outer shell. So for them it is easier to gain the electron to fill the outer shell. So they have a tendency. So whatever be the metal has removed is gained by the non-metal, which is chlorine here. So they have a tendency to gain the electron. So here it is gaining the electrons and gaining the electrons, but see, the anions and cations is different. So whenever you're losing the electron, it will become a cation, not an anion. So this term is correct, not the previous one. And after gaining the electron, it will become anion. So the correct option is option D. Question number 7. In the following diagram, X and Y are atoms of different elements. Which diagram correctly shows the arrangement of outer shell electrons in a molecule of methane? So methane is basically CH4. So one carbon atom is attached with 4 the hydrogen atoms, and carbon is having like 4 the number of electrons on the outer shell. So here you can just check for the first option, there is 4 electron and it's combined with only 3. So definitely not this. It's combined with only 2, not this. Here it is combined, and you could see it is for this X it's dotted. For Y it is like, see, it has like many, not a single one. It has 6 electrons on the outer shell. So it's not hydrogen. For hydrogen there is only 1 electron on the outer shell, not 6. So option C is also wrong. Option D is the correct answer. So question number 8, which pathway describes the properties of a graphite? So graphite has a structure like this. It's having like a layers of carbon. So carbon is bonded like this. You could see this is like one layer of graphene, and if you're taking a single graphene atom, it's bonded with three. And as I mentioned, carbon is having four the electrons on the outer shell. So three is bonded to the next carbon atoms, but a single electron is unpaired. There is an unpaired electrons that is becoming delocalized. So that delocalized electron is giving the conducting property for the graphite. So here these carbons are bonded with each of the carbon covalently. So for the first option, it's is it covalently bonded? Yes, it is covalently bonded. And does it conduct electricity when solid? Yes, it conducts, because there is a delocalized electrons present. So the correct option is option A. Question number 9. Which row identifies the formulas of named substance? So first one is cobalt 2 chloride, but see here it is copper. Cobalt is having a symbol of CO, so this one is wrong. Then option B, it's ethane. Ethane is correct. So ethane means to the carbon atom, and it's an alkane. So it's correct. And for the C, it's helium. Helium is a noble gas, and it's not a diatomic molecule, it's a monoatomic. Just He is fine. It cannot bond up with any other helium atom. And for the option D, it's iron 3 oxide, which means that iron, this 3 is representing the oxidation number of the iron, and oxygen has an oxidation number of 2 minus. So if you are using the swap and drop method, the actual formula for it is gonna be Fe2O3, not Fe3O2. So the correct option is option B. Question number 10. Antifreeze contains a mixture of water and ethylene glycol. The diagram shows the displayed formula. So you can find out the water here, the 3, and the other 3 is representing the ethylene glycol. What is the molecular formula of ethylene glycol? So molecular formula meaning it has the actual atom count. Okay, it has the exact composition. So you just need to take like one of the molecule and just count how much is the carbon, how much is the hydrogen, how many oxygen is present. So carbon, there is like 2, and hydrogen 1 2 3 4 5 6, and oxygen 1 2 2. So C2H6O2. So the correct option is option B. Question number 11. The equation for the reaction of magnesium with oxygen is shown. 2 magnesium plus oxygen gives you 2 MgO. In an experiment, 6 grams of magnesium is reacted with excess oxygen. Which mass of magnesium oxide MgO is produced? So for this, you can split the method into 3 steps, as these are the related data that you need. So here first you need to find out the moles, how much moles. So even though we have taken 6 grams, always when you have a balanced chemical equation, the value that you need to compare should be about the moles of each of the compound. So here 6 grams of magnesium. So you can find out the moles of magnesium. So the formula is the given mass divided by the relative atomic mass. So given mass divided by the relative atomic mass. So here it is 6 grams divided by 24. So this is gonna be 0.25 moles. So this is the number of moles. So now you can do the mole ratio. So look at the equation and make sure it is a balanced equation, and here it is balanced. 2 mg, 2 mg, 2 oxygen, and here is 2 oxygen. So it's a complete balanced equation. Now you can compare the ratio. So 2 moles of magnesium gives you 2 moles of two moles of MgO. So it's 1-to-1 ratio. So if there is 0.25 moles of magnesium, that will give you the same amount since it is of 1-to-1 ratio. So 2 mg, 2 MgO. So 1 mg will give you 1 MgO, 0.25 mg give you 0.25 MgO. So now you will get the moles of this MgO, and that's gonna be the same as this Mg, which is 0.25. So now you can use the same formula to get the given mass with the rearrangement. So mass of the MgO is gonna be equal to, when you need to find this given mass, you have to multiply this moles of MgO multiplied by the relative atomic mass. So it is 0.25 times the MgO relative masses. Since Mg has 24 and oxygen has 16, the total is 40. So 0.25 times 40 will be the calculation, and that's gonna be 10 grams. So out of this option A is the correct answer. Question number 12. Which products are formed when dilute sulfuric acid undergoes electrolysis? So this is how an electrolysis method is going to be. So it has cathode, it has anode. So cathode will be negative, anode will be positive. So here if you have a dilute sulfuric acid, so dilute, which means that it has water also present. So there will be as it's used as an electrode. So SO4 will change into H plus, 2H plus, and SO4 2 minus. So here SO4 2 minus, since it is of -1, it will go to the positive, and the H plus go to the negative, which is at the cathode. So product formed at the anode and product formed at the cathode is what you need to find out. So not only this H2SO4, you have H2O also present, since it is of a dilute one. And how this one will be splitting is as per H plus and OH minus. So here this H plus and H plus, so both the dissociation will give you H plus as the positive ion. So at the cathode you will be getting the hydrogen for sure, and at the anode there is like OH minus and SO4 2 minus, both are present, but you will be getting the oxygen, not the sulfur dioxide present. It will be forming the oxygen. So the correct option is option A. So here this is what happens. Hydrogen is produced in the cathode, and OH minus is oxidized to give you the O2, the oxygen gas, and SO4 2 minus will remain in the solution as they are the spectator ions. Question number 13. The diagram shows an experiment to electroplate a nickel spoon with silver. So this is the nickel spoon, the electrolyte is over there. So which row correctly describes the positive electrode, the negative electrode, and the electrolyte? So here there is no power supply signs is given, so you need to find it. So this is nickel one, whether it will be a positive electrode or a negative electrode, you need to find out. So this is how it's gonna be happening. In the electroplating principle, the object to be plated, okay, that should be at the cathode or at the negative electrode. So here the negative electrode is always gonna be the object that is to be plated. So it could be the nickel spoon, not the pure nickel spoon. So it will be either C or D. And the metal to be deposited, so here silver is to be deposited, and that should be the positive ion, at the positive electrode. So the one the nickel should be plated with the silver. So silver, the pure form, should be at the positive electrode, and the electrolyte must contain the ions of the plating material. So we are plating the silver, so you need to get like some silver solution. So here nickel nitrate and silver nitrate is present, so you need to choose the silver nitrate solution. So the correct option is option D. Question number 14. When dilute sulfuric acid reacts with aqueous sodium hydroxide, the temperature of the solution increases. Which words describe this reaction? So here it is given that the temperature increases. So here when the energy transferred from the reactant to the surrounding. So since there is a temperature of the solution increases, we can state it as an exothermic reaction. So it's not an endothermic, it could be an exothermic reaction. And here it is sulfuric acid H2SO4, which is an acid reacting with sodium hydroxide. So an acid reacts with a base, so it's always gonna be a neutralization reaction, so it forms the salt and the water. So the correct option is option C. Question number 15. Which statement is correct for both physical and chemical changes? So these are the difference between a physical and a chemical change. So on a physical change, there is no new substance produced, but on a chemical change, there is. And physical change is a reversible reaction, chemical change is an irreversible reaction. So the first one is covalent bonds are broken and during the changes. So that's happening only for the chemical reactions, not for the physical changes. So it's not the option A. Then option B, the total mass of the substance is the same before and after the changes. Like whatever be the change, whether it is a physical or chemical, it's gonna be the total mass. Mass is always conserved. So that doesn't make any difference between a physical and a chemical change. Then the C option is the changes are usually reversible. So that reversible is only for physical, not for the chemical. The temperatures is always rises or falls during the changes. So it's not like for both. Like for the in the chemical changes, like it will be forming a new substance. If you're burning something, it will change. Like that's not basically makes a difference between a physical and a chemical change. So the correct option is option B. Question number 16. A sample of calcium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce a final volume of 60 centimeter cube of gas. So calcium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid. The reaction finishes after 120 seconds. The experiment is repeated at a lower temperature. All other conditions stays the same. Which row shows the results of the second experiment? So it's totally making a volume of the gas like the final volume is 60 centimeter cube, and even if you're changing the temperature, of course the rate of the reaction is getting changed. So as the temperature increases, the rate of reaction increases. As the temperature decreases, the rate of reaction decreases, but it doesn't actually change the volume of the products. So it will keep the same volume, 60 centimeter cube. Then about the time. So here the reaction finishes after 120 seconds. So it will take that much of time. But at a lower temperature, as the temperature lowers, the rate of reaction also lowers. So it will take a lot of time to finish. So it will be greater than 120 seconds. So it could be 160 seconds. So the correct option is option D. So lower the temperature, particles move lower, particles move slower, very fewer collisions, and reaction rate decreases. Question number 17. In which equation is iron oxidized? So oxidation is basically the gain of oxygen or loss of the electrons, and reduction is loss of oxygen or gain of electrons. So here if you are taking the option A, It is carbon FeO. So here the iron has the oxygen and it loses. So loss of the oxygen is what we call the reduction. So here for the iron it's reduction happening. For the option B, it has the iron has like 3 oxygen, but here there is no oxygen. So again it's a reduction. Then for the option 3, the C option, Fe2O3, and it has like 3 oxygen. Now it's just like 1 oxygen, so it means that it again has lost the number of oxygen. But for the last option D, it's having Fe before, and after the reaction it has gained oxygen. It means that here is the oxidation happens. So option D is the correct option. Question number 18. HCl is an acid, NH4OH is an alkali. Which row shows the ions present in aqueous solutions that identify the acid and the alkali? So always the acids will be releasing the hydrogen ions when it dissolves in water, so when it's forming the aqueous solutions, and the alkalis will be forming OH minus when it is dissolved in water. So here, since it is HOCl is an acid, it will be forming H plus, and NH4Cl will be forming OH minus. So correct option is option B. Question number 19. Which elements form an oxide that reacts with water to produce a blue solution with thymophthalate? So calcium, carbon and sulfur are the elements. So here the thymophthalate indicator will be forming a blue. We have like 3 options given, so you need to get like blue solutions when it is reacted with water. So oxides of which? So for the calcium, it will be forming calcium oxide, and it will be forming an alkaline solution. So in alkaline solution you will be getting blue. So calcium will be giving you the blue solution. For the carbon, as it's reacting with the water, it will give you carbonic acid, which is an acid. So no blue color. For the sulfur also, it will be forming sulfurous acid, which is also an acid. So it's not forming any blue color. So only calcium is able to form an alkali. So only option B, that will give you the blue in the thymophthalate solution. Question number 20. A sample of fertilizer is tested by warming it with aqueous sodium hydroxide. A colorless gas is produced which turns damp red litmus paper blue. Which element essentially for plant growth must be present? Warming the fertilizer with sodium hydroxide will release ammonium gas mainly, and the ammonium properties are colorless, it has a like pungent smell, and it's an alkaline gas, so it will change the red litmus paper into a blue. So here you are getting the ammonia, which is a nitrogen compound, so the correct option will be nitrogen, which is option A.